So, welcome guys. I'm Anastasiia Miroshnichenko. I come from Berlin. I'm working for St. Elmo's. It's a very, very small advertising company, and we are focusing on augmented reality. Basically, we're starting our road from developing applications for a HoloLens headsets, and just a year before, we decided to move on, and we decided to deliver augmented reality to web. So today I'm gonna invite you to a very interesting trip through augmented reality for the web browsers. And if you have already thought or heard, it's becoming very trending, and it sounds like it would be the next big thing. When you are thinking about augmented reality, first you might think about the holograms. Like in 1999, the first hologram of Princess Leia was appearing in Star Wars. And we say, hey, it still looks like it's far, far, far away future, and maybe even in not my galaxy. But I want to tell you that the future is here. It's happening now, and you don't need to dream no more. Nowadays, augmented reality brings us a holographic tools and experience, and it will change the way we communicate. So we came a long way, and all of that stuff starts in 1962 when the Morton Heilig invented his first apparatus. Looks like a video machine where the user can drive into immersive experience, like he's riding on a motorcycle all through the New York town. The machine provides a video player, sounds. It also includes smell sensors and fan, which makes a wind, and of course a chair, which makes you riding. Also, this guy has made a first patent on some device looking like a headset, but it was not really functional. And the first functional headset was developed by Ivan Sutherland in 1968. And you can see how big and buggly it is. So this very large device is using the power of cathode ray tubes, and to be able to project a virtual object in front of the user. So is it cool? Isn't it? And this stuff has a nickname like Sword of Damocles, because you never know when this stuff will follow you. Yeah, so this all sounds like it was a long way coming to here, and today I want to say that you hold a future in your hand. How many of you have your phones right here? Yeah, so this is it. This is the future, and I will show you why. And yeah, my super cool video, thanks to my boss, without a sound. Still without a sound. Din, 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 tits, tits, tits. It all appears like immersive, unbelievable, unpredictable. Yeah, it should be very cool music here. Those are some demos that we developed for our clients. cool. So I will put the slides onto a GitHub, so maybe later on you will hear it again with some music. So augmented reality, what is it? The augmented reality is the way how we overlay our visual environment with some virtual information. Like, for example, here you can see a small holograms of my boss appearing on a business card. Or you can put, again, my boss, everywhere around you. But you can just record another video. So, you might think like from where to start and where to go and why do we use it. Do you remember the game like Pokemon Go? I would tell you that now you don't need any apps. We can do this just in a web. So I will tell you how we can reach it. First, some of you maybe heard about WebGL, Web Graphics Library. It was like the first library based on OpenGL that helps you to render 2D and 3D content into the web browsers. So it was like big basement for game development engines like Unreal Engine or Unity. And of course, some of JavaScript libraries, like for example, Three.js, Play Canvas, Babylon.js, A-Frame from Mozilla, and so on. And in its use an HTML5 element such as Canvas. So this is a quick demo what you can create using a WebGL. As I saw, it uses very low nature rendering. And what I want to point you today is a Three.js library. It's a cross-browser JavaScript library, which is, of course, based on a WebGL, which helps you to render a complex 3D graphics directly in a web. And I will show you very fast how to use it in our local environments. So basically, everything that you need to do is to go to official web page and download the current version. And put it into the same folder of your projects that you are working on. Or, of course, you can use a CDN links, like we will do that, or an NPM models who loves to develop it with a React, Angular, and I'm not sure if it's possible with Vue.js, but you can try. So, I'm going to show you how to build a red spinning cube demo. First of all, you need to know just the basics of HTML and just a bit of JavaScript, so this mostly will sound for you familiar. Here in a JavaScript setup, you see nothing special, just a CDN link, and all of our script will go here in our empty script tag. Actually, to be able to show anything in Three.js, we need three things, like scene, camera, and render, to be able to render scene and camera. So let's take a look here what we have. In Three.js, we have few different cameras. In this simple case, we will use a perspective camera. You can go to a website and explore many more of them. It requires a few values. First is a field of view. The value is in degrees. The second one is an aspect ratio. You might always wonder it like width of the element divided by height. And the last two attributes is a close and far clipping mode. That means that the objects which are behind will not be rendered, so you will not be able to see them. The next step is a renderer. So it's the same basic WebGL renderer. And this is where actually the magic happens. In addition to create a render, you might want to set a size of your application. So it would be a width and a height of your mobile device. And now we need to be able to add our 3D content to an HTML page, and this function will create a canvas element for us. And finally, we render our scene in a camera. So now when the basement is ready, we will create our red cube. So let's take a look. First, to create a cube, we will use a box geometry in size of 111. It's in meters, but no one knows what is the real meters in web is. And in Three.js, you will find a lot of more other geometries like a sphere, cycle, rectangle, whatever. Yeah, just go to a website to explore them. Next one, you might want to use a material. For this demo, we will use mesh basic material and set a color of red. The color is the same as in Photoshop or CSS styles, and it's just a hex color. So nothing really special. And the last thing what we need for our box is a mesh. A mesh, it's an object which will take our geometry and cover it with our material. And later on, we will add this to our scene. So now we add to our scene a cube, but we still do not see nothing. Why? Just because when you call an add function, it places our cube into coordinates of 0, 0, 0. And unfortunately, the camera has the same coordinates. So it looks like our camera is inside of a cube. So you don't see nothing. For that, we will move our camera out a bit. So this is it. Now you see our red cube. It's very fancy, but let's make it more interesting, adding some animations. We will add rotation animation. And for that, we will call something called like render loop or animation loop. So we make a render loop, make it called every time when the screen is refreshed. So it means like 60 times per second. And this is it. Now you will be able to see our spinning red cube. Everything of those sounds like really complicated. You need to remember all of this stuff like renderer, box geometry, what the hell is this? But 3 years ago, guys from Mozilla invented an A-Frame. It's open source, cross-browser JavaScript library, which is based on HTML elements and helps users and developers to create a 3D content on the web just in a few lines of code. Let's take a look into that. So, again, all that you need to do is to go to official website, copy a link, and pass it into our project. Of course, you can always use an NPM models. And we will start by building a basic scene. So you need to delete everything you wrote before. And now we just add a scene tag. As I told, A-Frame is entity component system that is based on HTML, and you can use it just like a normal HTML text, styling with the attributes. It's inside of our scene. We will put an A box, which will reproduce our cube, and it already sounds like really easy, isn't it? Then we will style it with a color. So you just add an attribute, color, and you say red. And now we might, again, use a position. In A-Frame, the default position of a camera is like 1.5 meters high. So to be able to see the cube, which is added by default on a 0, you would need to rotate your camera down, which is not really useful because you want to appear your cube in front of you. So we will move it onto 1.5 meter high and a bit out to see it. And finally, let's add, and let's rotate it to make it more fancy so you can see it has some edges, faces, vertices. Yeah, and now we will add the animation for that. as you see, just one line. Is it amazing? We define a property that we want to animate. In our case, it's rotation. We set from where to where, rotate it, we loop it, and the duration of 5 seconds. If you follow me up, you should see this beautiful spinning cube. But what's next? Now let's say, like, it's a topic about augmented reality, yeah? So we want to add some augmented reality to our app. And now let's extend it. There are several ways to do that. We can place our object onto a marker, then it would be connected to some, like, paper, flyer, magazine, whatever. Or we want to place it on a surface wherever we can tap. And to implement that, we have several very powerful technologies. I will start from AR.js. It's a startup project from Jérôme Etienne. You can Google it. It's also open source, cross-browser JavaScript framework, which is based on WebGL and uses markers. It supports on each mobile phone and browsers that are supporting a WebGL, so basically any iPhone or Android which is not older than 3 years. So how it's possible? AR.js is a marker-based technology. It's used as markers. Have you ever seen this marker? Hero marker, yeah. So here markers is like simplified QR codes. We are defining different scenes for different markers. And hero marker was invented by Hirokatsu Kato in 1999. This guy and together with his colleagues was invented AR toolkit. Let's try to set up it in our A-Frame environment. So first, what we need to do is we need to add a link to a JavaScript library. Then we need to add a few attributes to our scene. So we add AR.js that will call a JavaScript and add embedded attribute which will remove all full screen styles for a canvas. Finally, we need to add a marker tag and specify it for a hero marker. And that's all. Now, it's really easy. You have a spinning cube in our real environment. But I know you want more. And I want to show you the guys from the 8th wall. These are very talented guys from California, Palo Alto, that they make possible to appear in objects whenever you tap on recognizable surface. And 8th wall is using 6 degrees freedom tracking, device orientation, heat test, world points, wherever they could use to position an object. It's also built on WebGL, and it's used its own simultaneous localization and mapping engine, and it's hyper-optimized for real-time augmented reality in a web. Unfortunately, this library is not free. You need to pay for a license. But come on, look, it's incredible. 8-volt could be easily integrated into any 3D libraries, like, for example, Three.js, A-Frame, Babylon.js, or even Amazon Sumerian. This is some of the projects they built. You can take a moment to see. They are really cool. The next, what I want to talk about, it's Apple. Apple has its own approach to web-augmented reality, and with iOS 12, it comes a new feature as Apple Quick Look. With an Apple Quick Look viewer, you are able to see a high-quality 3D objects positioned on a surface. It uses models in Pixar format known as USDZ. And it works just for Safari and built-in applications like Mail, Notes, and Messages. So, augmented reality for web shows us there is no more necessary to download a third-party applications, which user will surely uninstall very soon or even not download it at all. It shows us that it becomes user-friendly, so now you don't need to spend like $100 to buy a headset. You just need your phone. And it's frictionless, because you don't need to install apps anymore. You just need a scan QR code, go to a website, and you are free to experience. So delivering augmented reality to the web, you make it more easier for your users. And I want to thank you for attention. You can follow me on Twitter. And later on I will post my slides onto a GitHub. And it's not a live slide. You can upload first.